Okay. Thanks again for being here. We are so glad you're here. At this time, I want to especially welcome our online audience. It's not just the folks in the room, but we have several who are streaming in to join us. So thank you for being with us at the 2022 Fiesta. Rim, could you say hello to the people online? Hola! Okay, great. Well, one of the best things about North Littleton Promise, not the best thing, because there are many best things, but one of the best things about North Littleton Promise is the way it brings people together. This night, I've been at every Fiesta for the last decade. It's a night when Littleton folds in on itself. And you're like, oh, how are you here? Oh, that's so fun to see you. It's a great night like that. I love that. So we have several people in the room that I'm just so grateful that you are here and you've helped to make this happen. So would you guys help me honor a handful of people? First of all, there are a few local businesses and organizations who stepped up in a special way to sponsor tonight's Fiesta. Each of these see the great value in collaboration for the good of a community, and we look forward to the kind of impact that we can have together. This is only the beginning. So when I mention your group, if you're part of one of these groups, please stand so we can thank you for being here. So first, Littleton Soccer. Littleton Soccer. Well, there we go, Littleton Soccer. And now Lost Coffee. Lost Coffee's my second home right now. McDonald Automotive. Thank you, guys. Mission Hills Church. Of course, thank you, Mission Hills. And RPM Living. Oh, thank you, guys. Thank you so much for being here. What a gift. Thank you, sponsors. Now, over a decade ago, when I first was getting connected with North Littleton Promise, one of the things that drew me as a pastor is the way North Littleton Promise brings churches together. It's just a beautiful reminder to me that churches are not islands. We're not in competition with one another. We get to serve side by side, hand in hand, to bless our community. So I want to ask all of the pastors and church staff who are here to just stand. We need you to stand so that we can see. So if you're a pastor or church staff, will you stand up? Okay. Come on, don't be shy. Keep going. Thank you. Yes. Friends, this is just a small representation of the way North Littleton Promise brings the churches together. I am also so grateful that we have a few representatives from my alma mater, Denver Seminary. Where's the Denver Seminary folks? Hey guys, great to have you. Yes, I'll be excited to hear my grade after this. Okay, so this is just a representation of the churches and church communities who are here. I love this. There's a special church community that has been such a blessing to North Littleton Promise. I want to give a special word of thanks to Living Word Tabernacle. Living Word Tabernacle is the church in North Littleton. They are the base of operations for North Littleton Promise. There are things happening almost every night of the week at Living Word Tabernacle. They are fantastic hosts and partners. They bless and love this ministry. So thank you, guys. Thank you. We love you. Now, I mentioned that education is one of the priorities for North Littleton Promise. It's utterly central, and there's simply no way that NLP could have the impact that we do without the generous, open partnership with Littleton Public Schools. So I want to ask, if you are a teacher or a staff with Littleton Public Schools, will you stand up? Any staff with Littleton Public Schools, any teacher? Thank you, guys. Thank you. I am also grateful that tonight we have two board members from the LPS School Board, Angela Christensen and Lindley McCrary. Will you two stand up? Oh, there you are. Great. Thank you. Thank you so much. Now, Littleton is a great place to be, isn't it? It's a great city. One of my favorite things about the city of Littleton is the openness, the servanthood that the elected officials and the city staff exhibit. They find ways to partner together with the residents and with organizations like North Littleton Promise. So I am super grateful that tonight we have our mayor, Kyle Schlachter, here. Kyle, will you stand up? There you are, Kyle. We have our new city manager, Jim Becklenberg. Jim, and our assistant city manager, Sama Fox. Our director of community development, Jennifer Henninger. Thank you so much. That's the power of the city of Littleton. We're so glad to have you guys here. Thank you. You work diligently to make Littleton a great place to live and to work and to have relationships. There's a special team who coordinated this party tonight. Special thank you to Julie Parrish, Amy Palma, and Ashley Ray. This event is happening because of these ladies. So will you guys stand up? And of course, look around. What a beautiful venue for this event. Mission Hills is such a great partner for this group. Mission Hills, thank you. Thank you for hosting us. Thank you for serving North Littleton Promise. Thank you for your partnership. You are a blessing to this organization. Now, I would be remiss not to honor my fellow board members. These guys put up with me and are an excellent board. They work hard to guide and support North Littleton Promise. And when they stand, each of them, you can identify them. These would be people that would love to answer your questions. And if you think, I want to hang out with those people more, you may be called to be on the board. And I would love to talk to you and find out if that's true. So please join me in thanking Lee Robinson, who's served on the board since our inception. Mike Harrison. Mike, where are you? Mike. Lynn Bajaj. Lynn. And we're missing our one board member, Jason O'Rourke. So are there any former board members who are here with us tonight? Will you stand up if you're with us? All right, good. Thank you. Okay. And there are some VIPs, so we've got to go big for thanking these VIPs. I'm talking about the many volunteers who in many different ways give your time and talents. You are the rubber on the road for North Littleton Promise. So if you are currently or ever have been a volunteer for North Littleton Promise, that could be bringing a meal one time, that could be being a soccer coach, that could be serving as a mentor after school, whatever. If you have volunteered in any way for NLP, stand up. You're the VIP. Please. Thank you, guys. Thank you for serving. So, okay, I get it. We just served a lot of people, or we just thanked a lot of people, right? But that's kind of the point, isn't it? Like, think about all the people who get involved in an organization like this and make it happen. I want you to see what a unifying and empowering organization we are here to celebrate tonight. There are so many special relationships that make this thing go. But if you know North Littleton Promise at all, you also know there is one person who has been a steady, kind, passionate, humble, empowering, and inspiring leader for this organization. And her faithfulness is the thing that keeps so many of us coming back again and again. Of course, I'm talking about our executive director, Maureen Shannon. Would you welcome Maureen to the stage?
Good evening. It just feels so good to have you guys in this room. I'm so thankful for you. I first want to start by having our staff come up so I can introduce them. So, staff members, why don't you join me up here? And as they're coming up, they have done so much work to for tonight, and I want you to just give them a round of applause as they come up. Come this way. So I'm going to start over here. This is Ashley Ray. She is she just did this whole thing tonight, guys. That's how awesome she is. We recently changed her job title because we keep just throwing more things at her. Director of Logistics and Development, I think, is where we landed. So she's awesome. She is so amazing. She has such a heart for people, but really good at handling all of the little pieces that go into this work. So thank you, Ashley. Okay. Next to Ashley is Nella Llovera. Nella is our Director of Parent Engagement. She's been with us a little over a year, but she's been our Mom's Bible Study leader for 5 or 6 years now. So she is incredibly faithful, serves with her whole heart, and is just a beautiful mentor and friend to so many of our moms. So thank you, Nella. This is Bree McMahon. She is new with us. We just hired her over the summer. She dove in head first. I don't know. She is launching our high school leadership development program, and we are so excited to have her. She joined our group. She's so fun. She brings so much life, and she is really skilled with people, and she's bilingual, which is awesome, and she's been a gift to us. So welcome, Bree. This is Janet Watts. Janet Watts has been our Director of Programs, and she's done so much for this organization for many years. Yes. She leads our elementary and middle school programming right now, and she puts her whole heart into our summer programming. One of our summer staff said she is the brains and heart behind summer programs, but she is amazing and loves our kids and students so much. We're so thankful for you, Janet. So now we have the pleasure every year of giving some awards to some special people. And the reason why we give awards every year is that we want to celebrate our priorities, faith, education, and leadership, in action. When they're coming, they've come to life, we're seeing them exemplified in people, and we want to celebrate that together. And so the other award that we give every year, the fourth award, is our Stronger Together Community Partnership Award, where we get to plot and think, who's a partner, who's been an amazing gift to us, who has a heart for collaboration the way that North Littleton Promise does. And so those are the 4 awards: faith, education, leadership, and our Stronger Together award. So if you are a recipient, and Taylor, who's going to give one of our awards, why don't you come on up? Everybody come up. Oliver, yep. Okay, go ahead.
All right, Bree and I are going to be sharing the podium for this award. North Littleton Promise's priority of faith serves as the foundation for everything we do. We aspire that our students and their families would intimately know Christ, be actively growing in their faith, and would share their faith in the Northeast Littleton community.
La prioridad de fe de North Littleton Promise sirve como base para todo lo que hacemos. Aspiramos a que nuestros estudiantes y sus familias conozcan íntimamente a Cristo, crezcan activamente en su fe y comparten su fe en la comunidad de North Littleton Promise.
NLP has been lovingly referred to by some students as church, But we continually pray that they would see opportunities to experience Jesus and share him outside of our programming.
Algunos estudiantes, refiriendo casualmente a NLP como iglesia, pero oramos para que vean oportunidades de experimentar a Jesús y compartir fuera de nuestro programa.
Tonight, we're honoring our sweet friend here, Miss Gali Gonzalez, with our Faith in Action Award for the many ways that she lives out her faith at NLP and elsewhere.
Esta noche honramos a Gali González con nuestro premio Fe en Acción por las muchas formas en que ella vive su fe en NLP y en otros lugares.
Gali is unashamed to talk about her faith at school with her peers and at home with her family. Her mother's commitment to guiding Gali in her faith by talking about Jesus and taking her to church has provided a strong foundation.
Gali no se avergüenza de hablar sobre su fe en la escuela con sus compañeros y en su casa con su familia. El compromiso de su madre de guiar a Gali en su fe, hablando de Jesús y llevándola a la iglesia, ha proporcionado una base sólida para ella.
This past summer, I had the opportunity to watch her grow in her faith and be a leader to other students.
El verano pasado tuve la oportunidad de verla crecer en una fe y ser líder para otros estudiantes.
She chose forgiveness and conflict, humility and leadership, and encouragement when others were feeling down.
Eligió el perdón en los conflictos, la humildad en el liderazgo y el aliento cuando los demás se sienten deprimidos.
She's quick to find those who felt left out and make sure that they feel included, and has been known to pause during a soccer game to help someone up, whether they're on her team or not.
Es rápido para encontrar a aquellos que se sienten excluidos y se asegura de que estén incluidos. Y se sabe que hace una pausa durante un partido de fútbol para ayudar a alguien, sea que estén en su equipo o no.
I'm excited to present her this award and to see how she continues to lead our community by setting an example.
Me emociona presentarle este premio y ver cómo continúa liderando a nuestra comunidad, dando un ejemplo.
So I'm happy to present to you Pam McWilliams. I am thrilled to be her friend, and she's also a volunteer in our Wednesday program. Pam is the perfect example of our education priority. Our priority is to have lifelong learning, to love learning. It's not just about reading and writing and arithmetic. It's about learning to love reading, learning to love life. And this is what Pam does. Pam is a 7th grade science teacher at Euclid Middle School, where many of our students attend. She runs the Euclid Equity Committee because she really cares about our community. And she's also trained as a first responder. After a long day at school, Pam comes over to NLP on Wednesdays and volunteers with our middle school program. She comes as a resource teacher. She helps the kids discover missing assignments that they're sure are not there. She finds them. Yes, she does. And she helps them understand math problems that they never thought they'd get. She helps them finish their science experiments or their history assignments. And she helps all of us understand the inner workings of middle schoolers. That's really important to us. And she does it with a smile on her face. Can you imagine teaching all day and then coming and doing 2 more hours with us? Her learning continues during the summers. Many teachers want to just rest and recover. Pam is a National Geographic certified teacher, and she leads high school trips with both National Geographic and the Smithsonian Institute. This past summer, she led 2 different groups to Iceland, and they were students from around the world. They weren't even just all American, they were from around the world. And her favorite thing was, let's find adventure. Let's figure out why science is such a cool thing, literally, when you're in Iceland. So, in her free time, I don't know how she has any, but she likes to ride her bike, train her dogs, and does anything she can to have an adventure. She is truly someone who loves learning and plans to do it her entire life. And so we are thrilled to present her with the Education Award. Miss Pam. So nice.
Para nosotros de North Littleton Promise, el liderazgo es aquella influencia positiva y valiosa en nuestra comunidad. Es importante ver a nuestros padres en roles de liderazgo en nuestra comunidad, en las escuelas, iglesias y nuestra ciudad.
For us, North Littleton Promise, leadership is that positive and valuable influence in our community. It is important to see our partners and parents in leadership roles in the community, schools, churches, and out in our city.
Se entrega este premio de liderazgo en acción pensando que juntos somos más fuertes.
This Leadership in Action Award is presented with the thought that together we are stronger.
Esta noche queremos reconocer a Margarita Moreno por su ejemplo en nuestra comunidad. Con su influencia, trabajo y ánimo, ayuda a otras familias a hacer oír su voz, la voz hispana, para construir juntos el Centro Comunitario del Este.
Tonight we want to recognize Margarita Moreno for her example in our community that with her influence and work helps and encourages other families to make their Hispanic voice heard to build together the new East Community Center.
Además, Margarita muestra su apoyo a otras mamás, ayudándoles para encontrar trabajo y acceder a recursos. Les ayuda en las traducciones, las entrena y les anima con su propia experiencia. Generosamente da su tiempo y recursos para asistirlas. Les prepara fiestas para mantenerlas unidas y compartir.
In addition, she shows her support and helps other NLP moms to find jobs, access resources, helps them with translations, trains them and encourages them with her own experience. She generously gives her time and resources to assist them, throws parties for them so they can bond and be together.
Me siento muy emocionada en esta noche. Es un privilegio para mí para entregar este premio de liderazgo en acción a nuestra ejemplar mujer, Margarita Moreno, por construir y unir a nuestra comunidad.
She is very excited to present this award to our beloved and exemplary Margarita Moreno.
Hello, everyone. I feel like I should introduce myself first. I am Taylor Powell, and I have been working with North Littleton Promise Summer Program for, I think, 5 or 6 years now. So I've been around for quite a long time. I'm honored to be here today to present this award to one of the amazing organizations that we get to partner with year after year. So every year, we get to celebrate a community partner who values collaboration and knows that impact is greater through partnership. For the past 2 summers, NLP has partnered with the Binning Foundation to bring collaboration and design projects to our students. Representing this organization this evening is Sean O'Shea. Sean reached out to initiate a summer partnership with our summer program. The Binning Foundation has a makerspace with access to woodworking equipment and 3D printing technology. During the school year, students from Options High School use this facility in their classes and other after-school activities. This past summer, our middle schoolers got the opportunity to design and build their own Bluetooth speaker. Over 4 sessions, they were able to work through the design and engineering process while learning how to time manage while also building woodworking and engineering skills. They were even shown how to use some basic electrical work to set and create the Bluetooth Connect ability. They enjoyed this experience because it got them out of their comfort zone and they were able to be creative in their own way. We have loved our partnership with Sean and the Binning Foundation over the past couple summers. We thank you for your commitment and dedication to our kids and families. Thank you for partnering with North Littleton Promise, and we look forward to continue working with you guys.
It's thanks for celebrating people with us. It's really important to us that we are able to celebrate together what God is doing in our community and in the lives of our families and volunteers and kids. So thanks for celebrating them with us. How many of you have been to the Fiesta before? Raise your hand. Wow, I love it. That means you like it, I hope. How many of you are new here? Wow, look at that. That's awesome. That's awesome. Welcome. We're so glad you're here. I hope that you're able to get a feel for who we are tonight through our student servers who just did such an awesome job. Could you guys give them a round of applause? They're so awesome. We love to gather people together to share stories, to be together, to celebrate what God is doing. We love cross-cultural relationships. We value that so much as a part of who we are. The book of Revelation actually talks about that. When we get to heaven, every tribe and every nation, every tongue will be represented there. And we're like, okay, let's get there. We want to do that here now. So I'm Maureen Shannon, as Mike introduced me. If you know me, you know that I love to grow things. I love to garden. I have so many houseplants, I don't think we can count them anymore. I obsess over what tomatoes and vegetables and flowers I'll plant every summer. Every time I put a seed in the dirt, I am like a kid on Christmas waiting for it to germinate. And as soon as it happens, people understand, people get it. I see you back there. I'm like, oh, girls, because we have a kindergartner and a third grader still at home and a 24-year-old who has moved on out of Colorado. But I'm like, girls, the seeds, they germinated overnight. Or, we're just so excited. It makes me so happy. I love taking care of baby plants, and I call them my babies, which I hope doesn't make my children feel strange. I love finding the just right place for the baby plant for it to flourish and to grow. I love the process of multiplying, the way that plants multiply. I love it. I love that there's seeds, like even just these sunflowers, right? Like if you grow sunflowers in your yard, they just go everywhere. They do it by nature, and I feel like it reflects God's design, right? And to my delight, there are so many plant and seed metaphors in Scripture, so many. Matthew 13 and the other Gospels share the parable of the sower, the parable of the weeds, the mustard seed, and so many, many more because, people have been gardening, I guess, since the garden, right? Long time. So I want to share with you North Littleton Promise's story through the eyes of a gardener. So pretend you moved to a new state, and maybe you had a yard and a garden in your old home, but you're going to a new place. And there's a process of getting to know a new space. So the first thing that you might do in that new place is figure out the climate, right? You might look up the USDA zone map. Has anybody ever done that? We're in zone 5, just so you know. You have to find out, excuse me, what zone you're in so you know what plants thrive in your area. You look at the orientation of your yard, right? Like where you get sun exposure, where it's shady, north, what's the west side and where's the sun gonna hit. Maybe you have huge shade trees, so you don't even have full sun in your yard. Or maybe you have like nothing. Our backyard had nothing when we moved in. So you've got to learn all of these things. You're learning the climate of your yard. You want to learn about the first frost date and the last frost date of so you know when to plant, when to turn things over. There's a lot that you have to learn about your climate to know when to plant, where to plant, and what to plant, right? So the next thing you might need to do in your new place is figure out what kind of soil you have. Is it clay? Is it sandy? Is it rich? Is it a rich loam? What's your soil pH? I could go on and on. Can you tell? Many gardeners find ways they have to amend. We're supposed to amend our soil, right? To enrich our soil so that we can provide our plants a flourishing environment, so they can flourish. There's that word, Mike. Yes, flourish. So I have learned that you have to intentionally do this, right? We have a compost bin at our home, and my husband lovingly calls it the poop bin. And I'm like, no, babe, it's not poop yet. It's going to be poop later. It's going to be worm poop later, but it's not poop yet. But that's the organic material that you have to feed the soil with, because it feeds the organisms that live in the soil, and then that is what feeds your plants, right? You guys know this. At some point in your new place, you need to identify what's already there. What do you have? It's rare. There's no place that's like a blank slate, right? There's always something there, whether you want it to be there or not. But what kind of plants do you have? Shrubs, trees? What kind of plants thrive here? What are the native plants? A good friend just moved here, moved into her home, and figured out that she has bindweed all over her yard. And now she's super excited to pull out all this bindweed. Unfortunately, you have to get familiar with the weeds too. So after that observation of climate, the soil preparation, and identifying the plants that are already growing, which is an ongoing and seasonal process, right? This is not like a 1, 2, 3, you're done, right? But you get to begin to add things, right? You might add trees for shade, for color, something to feed the wildlife in your area. You get to add flowers. I really get into this, guys. I'm kind of nerding out. You get to add flowers to attract pollinators that will maybe help the vegetables that you've chosen or the fruit that you've chosen to feed your family. And it's a blessing. Sometimes it's not, when your squirrels come in and steal now they're stealing my cucumbers, is what they're taking now. So, but it is a beautiful thing to be able to add to your garden. But in order to add, you have to understand the climate, you have to know the soil, and you have to see what's already there before you add to it. And if you haven't, that new palm tree that you picked out from your Colorado yard is gonna die. Adding to your garden requires vision. What do I want? Where do I want my shade? Our girls want a hammock in our backyard so bad. It's like, we're gonna be here for a while before we get the tree that we can hook the hammock to. But it requires vision, right? We're creating the yard of our dreams. Babe, this is, babe, I say babe to him. This is not our fall to-do list, just so you know. Don't worry about it. It's not our honey-do list. Okay, so I've been working in this community for 15 years, and I'm still learning about the culture of our families, of the families that we serve, the climate, right? Most of our families are Latino immigrant families. Parents speak Spanish, and some are bilingual. Many of them come from Mexico. Some from other countries as well, Venezuela, El Salvador, Peru. One of our families is from Ethiopia. Most of the kids were born here, but their parents are first-generation immigrants. They were born in another country and they've come here. I have some wonderful friends. Our organization has wonderful friends, mostly NLP parents that I call cultural mediators. They're bicultural, they understand. They function well both in dominant culture and Latino culture. I've learned that family is everything to them. They teach me things, they help me understand things. The family dynamic that is so important to them is just this concept of, it almost, you kind of get adopted into a family almost. Like the family is not just husband and wife and the 2 or 3 kids. It's abuelos and it's tias and tios and primos and anybody that they've adopted into their family. So many people. And they love their family dearly, so dearly. In order to really learn the climate of our families, North Littleton Promise has taken an active listening role with our parents. Toward the end of last year, our board of directors decided it was time to dream and plan for the next 3 to 5 years. So in January of this year, we started a season of strategic planning. When we started the discussion, our board felt a strong sense that we needed to listen to our community first. So we began with our parents. We know that our parents know this community better than we do, and I want to share. I'll share a little bit later of what they shared with us that night. But listening to our families is also really organic. It's getting to know people over time. It's being a part of their lives. It's very relational. It's taking time to ask a family how they're doing and listening to their response. It's sitting together on the soccer field while our kids play and talking about life. It's sharing a meal together and talking afterwards. It's called Sobre Mesa. Wilmer taught me that. Wilmer Ramirez from Denver Seminary taught me that a long time ago. It's being available in a crisis to help families in that moment. We've been connected to many of our families for over 10 years, and we've added 15 to 20 new families in the last 2 or 3 years. We are watching kids grow up. We know their stories. We've celebrated kids graduating high school, going to college, going to trade school, landing their first jobs, getting engaged. We've been the first employer for several of our high school students with summer jobs. We've celebrated quinceañeras, and a long-delayed marriage ceremony. We've walked through difficult seasons with our families, COVID, marriage separation, legal issues, and right now, cancer. We treasure our relationships with families, and we're privileged to be a part of their lives. We continue to learn and understand the climate, right? Their culture all the time. The circumstances of the last 2 or 3 years have enriched our community's soil in ways that we couldn't have planned or anticipated. Our community survived a pandemic. That's not a small thing. Everyone had food to eat. No one was evicted. North Littleton Promise helped families navigate COVID safety, lockdown, quarantines, job loss, food insecurity, rental assistance, vaccinations, hybrid school, like the list goes on and on. It's been a challenging season, as it probably has been for many of you too. North Littleton Promise has been getting dirty. There's that soil, right? Getting dirty in the trenches with our families. Last year, we empowered a group of East parents to advocate for themselves during the East Moody merge process. Parents were emboldened to speak up to the school board and LPS district administrators and share what it would mean for them to lose their neighborhood school. While we lost that battle, these families were empowered. It was amazing to be a part of, and it's changed those families. It's changed those moms. This year, I've witnessed families come together to support a fellow mom, another North Littleton Promise mom, Maria, who has recently had a terminal cancer prognosis. They've organized fundraisers for her. They've cooked meals for her. They've sat with her. They've cried with her. They've prayed with her. Another group of moms led by Margarita, who got our leadership award, came alongside a recently single mom who had a traumatic situation in her family and she needed immediate support right away. Margarita jumped in to help this mom find work. She walked alongside her to make sure that she could access the resources that she needed. Margarita planned and hosted a birthday party for this mom's kiddo because she didn't have the resources, the time, the energy to be able to do it. In the middle of these hard seasons and heartbreaking situations, who knew that God would be building a really strong, tight-knit, and loving community? Maybe that's the organic soil or the organic matter that was added to our soil. We've built trust with families, which is culturally a longer process than what I'm used to. I learned that from Wilmer Ramirez, too. Our families feel a sense of belonging at North Littleton Promise that means the world to them. It's connected to the dynamic of being immigrants in an unfriendly and cold culture. It has to do with most of them are separated from their extended families. And so the desire to belong and have family is really strong. We're that family for them, and their roots are growing deep in our community. So what's in our garden? So the truth is, we've been doing this for 19 years, but God was at work before North Littleton Promise showed up. He was shifting people around. Acts 17 talks about God creating every nation on earth and that he determines where they live and the boundaries of their dwelling places, that they should seek God and feel their way toward them. So could God have had a role in moving these families to our community? Could he have planted our families there, that they should seek God and find him? Some of these families have been living in the Littleton community for 10 to 20 years. And every time I meet a new family, a new mom, a new child, it's like discovering that beautiful tree in the autumn that's turned red and it's so gorgeous. Like, that's how it feels. Well, I just met this mom, Teresa, a couple weeks ago. I met her on the East Playground, walking our kids to school, and, I smile. I don't speak a lot of Spanish, and I'm really trying. And so I greeted her, and I'm being, open and friendly as I can. And then at our carnival, one of our other moms, Danny, who's an amazing mom and woman, she was with me. She recruited. I was like, go talk to that mom. So she went and talked to this mom. Did I say her name is Carla? Anyways, and recruited Carla to have her kiddos come to our program. But she shared at the community center meeting last night, she shared how she wants her family, her husband and their son, they don't have immediate family around them, right? They don't have anybody else. And she said, I want to find that here. I want relationships and I want friendships in this community. So we've been planting seeds also and seeing fruit in faith, education, and leadership. We're currently serving 50 families. And we have groups of families with kids who have aged out that are still kind of a part of our family. Some of our students that came tonight are high school, and they're not really connected right now, but they grew up with us, so they served you guys tonight. Currently, we have an after-school program that runs 3 days a week for elementary and middle school kids. We just launched and are building a high school leadership development program in response to our parents asking for that program when their kids age out of middle school. We partner with, I'm going to do this. We partner with Littleton Soccer, and we have four teams, ages kindergarten, these kindergarten boys that you can barely make go the right way, and up to like 7th and 8th grade boys, and you don't want to get in their way. And soccer has been one of the most beautiful community building things I've ever been a part of in my entire life. One of our most popular programs is our summer programs that we have for kids. So we're with kids for 5 weeks during the summer, 4 days a week, while their parents work, right? And they have constructive, awesome things to be a part of when they're with us. You saw a lot of photos of some of those fun times during the summer. Our primary parent programming is a mom's Bible study, but our support to our parents is very extensive. It's very relational, and it's very responsive to what our parents are needing. Currently, we're mobilizing parents to some community center planning meetings. So the short story is that one of the elementary schools, East Elementary, is closing. They're merging that school, those kids, with another school and building a new building on the Moody facility site. And so we're in this process of figuring out what are we going to do with this community center at the East building. So we had our first meeting last night. We had 20 parents there. NLP, 20 parents. 116 of the whole community, but 20 to show up is phenomenal. And I'm so proud of how they jumped in and shared their voice in that space. We're excited to see North Littleton Promise might have an opportunity there, and we're excited to see what happens. You see, since 2004, we've been in space for 2 different churches in the neighborhood that have hosted our programs. Right now, Living Word Tabernacle, I'm doing this because B is here from Living Word Tabernacle, hosts the majority of our programming. They're generous with their small facility, but it limits how many kids we can have at one time. And so we don't run 2 programs at the same time. We use offsite facilities in other churches, Bethany, and we host programs at Centennial Covenant Church over the summer, and we send kids to Eagle Lake camps during the summer so that we can still, we're trying to be creative with the space that we have. We do things during the summer. We have a family party during the summer, and our beloved Christmas event, it's our posada that we do with our families. Basically, we've made intentional programming choices because of the limitations that we have at our facility currently. So I've talked about the climate, and I've talked about the soil, and I just talked about what's growing there, right? So the fun part, and it's the part that I geek out on every year, it's the dreaming of what God might want to add to our program, to our garden. And it's the best part. The best part is that families have already spoken into that. We hosted a dreaming session that I mentioned with them in January and had 18 families represented. Lynn Bajaj, former field principal and also NLP board member, facilitated that evening. We heard requests like programs for older students and programs to strengthen family relationships like marriage and parenting. Parents asked for ESL classes and computer classes offered simultaneously with programming for kids, because that's always a barrier. If they're going to a class, their kids need to be doing something at the same time. They asked for various therapy opportunities for educational, mental health support for the whole family. Parents said that they want to bring their kids and they want to stay. They want to stay and they want to grow themselves. The underlying value that we heard from our parents and continue to hear is that our parents desire to be a part of a strong, interdependent community, not independent, but interdependent community, an extended family where they can support others and be supported so everybody thrives. They want to learn and grow like their children are. They also express a desire to share their gifts with the community, and our families are so gifted. Some have gifts of hospitality, like Margarita. You're going to meet her in a video in a minute. Some, Tila and Vicente, can cook carne asada like nobody's business. Maria has a green thumb and grows tomatoes and chilies and zucchini and flowers. Danny is gifted with meeting new people and recruiting new families to our program. Irma has a thriving house cleaning business. God has given another Maria, a different Maria, the gift of peace and joy in all seasons, even the season of cancer. Brandon, Jose, and Bella have the gift of leadership. Itzel has a gift of joy. Gally has a gift of faith, leadership, and kindness. And I could just go on and on. I want you to know them the way that we do. The Lord has given us an opportunity to truly understand the climate and the culture of our families. He's enriched our soil through some hard stuff, honestly, but a foundation of really established relationships, trust, and interdependence. He has planted beautiful families here, and he's growing fruit in their lives. Our job has been to faithfully and consistently plant and water seeds. 1 Corinthians 3:6 says, I planted, Apollos watered, but God was causing the growth. And now the North Littleton Promise community is dreaming for our future growth. And we're in the season of dreaming, friends. We don't even know what it's going to be, and we're dreaming. And I can't help but this season feels kind of right. It feels right. We've got pieces in place, and I'm really excited about what the Lord will have for us. So I'll give you an opportunity in a few minutes to be involved, but I have a video that I'd really like to share about my dear friend Margarita and her family.
I was born in Chihuahua, Mexico. My parents came to the States when I was 3 years old, and I moved to Denver in 1999, Castle Rock actually. In 2007, I met my husband, and I've been living here in Centennial since 2017, but there was always something missing. When we first moved here, we didn't really have a connection with very many people. When I dropped my daughter off at this program at North Littleton Promise for the first time, I thought it was going to be a program just for my daughter, but it's turned out it's been a program for the entire family, you know. It's made me want to know other families and get closer to them and help them, or help them help me. It's what I needed. I needed to find this community. It took me a while to come closer to the ladies. I was like, we can make more out of this and make us closer. So I said, I'll bring coffee. And the moms brought cookies, and another brought bagels, and another brought donuts. So then after that, I just started saying, hey, who wants to get together and make a party at my house? We can do a cookout, or we can do this. And everybody immediately jumped up and said, let's do it. And we come together to do fun things together, not only for ourselves, but for our kids. She loves everything about North Littleton, the socialization with her friends. She loves soccer. Eagle Camp is one of her favorite things to do that North Littleton offers for them. Lisa's learning things that I'm probably not teaching her at home that I wish I could. You know, she comes home and she tells me things, scriptures that she's learned. She wants to pray and to believe in God. I'm a nurse. I take care of the elderly in their homes. And I've been doing that for almost 17 years. It's a great feeling to know that you're doing something good for a lot of people that I've cared for, you know? And it's even better when you love it. One day out of the blue, my daughter and I went shopping, and all of a sudden she said, Mom, I love how you are always wanting to help people and helping others. I love that about you. And I said, thank you. I like to inspire people to be better, to do better for themselves, for their families. And I think when you do it from the heart, people realize that.
Margarita, will you come up with me? So when I didn't share this, but when we had that dreaming session in January of this year, Margarita was like just trying to, she was just starting to get connected to other people. And she came, and then she had to go because she had to work. And then she texted me the next morning, I couldn't sleep last night. I have so many ideas. And so we got together and she shared. She's a dreamer and she loves with her whole heart. She's gonna share a little bit with you.
Hi. Hi, everyone. I just want to share my story. North Littleton Promise has provided so many amazing benefits for my family and I. It's because of North Littleton Promise that my family has found love and great friendships within our community. As we all know, love is very powerful, and we all express it in so many different ways. But my 3 favorite ways would be caring, helping, and giving. NOP has also encouraged my family to thrive by giving us the resource and the boost to do so. I'm sorry. I believe we all need to continue learning in order for us to succeed. And with that, I would like to ask each one of you today to please give. Your gift will allow North Littleton Promise to continue blessing and helping families as it has done for mine. Thank you. You're the best.
So I can't help talking about more plants, right? So one of my favorite flowers are zinnias. And they come in so many different colors, and they're so beautiful. They attract pollinators. They bring me joy. Because they're annuals, I have to plant seeds every year, every spring. And the funny thing is, no matter how many I've planted, I'm always like, why didn't I plant more? I want more of these. They're so beautiful. I want to bring them into my home. I want to share them with people, and I never seem to have enough. So this reminds me of a verse in 2 Corinthians 9:6. Whoever sows sparingly will also reap sparingly, and whoever sows generously will also reap generously. Each of you should give what you have decided in your heart to give, not reluctantly or under compulsion, for God loves a cheerful giver. So true generosity is an attitude of our hearts. Galatians 6:9 says, do not grow weary in doing good, for in time you will reap a harvest if you don't give up. Our goal tonight is $40,000, and we're asking for you to contribute to that goal. If you love North Littleton Promise, I would ask that you set up a monthly donation, or even increase your monthly donation, or give a special gift tonight. If this is your first time, or maybe this is an annual, a lot of you are like, I've been here before, an annual affair, please give a generous gift. Your gift allows us to invest in families like Margarita and Juan and Isa, and prayerfully in the future we'll be able to expand. She is ready, Margarita is ready to invite families to join us. So there are 2 ways that you can engage with us tonight. There's a QR code that Andrew will put up for you. Hey, Andrew, thank you. Thank you. There's a QR code that'll come up. You can scan that. It takes you to the event page. You can sign up to pray, to get involved with kids. P.S. We need volunteers on Tuesday, Thursday. And you can give there. If you prefer a traditional method of giving, there are response cards and envelopes at your table. You can fill out that card front and back so we have a way to stay in touch with you, and you can give by check. I'm going to give you a couple minutes, and then Mike will close us in prayer. Thank you for being here tonight.
Well, guests and friends and neighbors, thank you so much for being here and being a part of this event. I hope that you have been inspired to take another step in the way you get involved with North Littleton Promise. One thing that I want to share with you is we've got these great little booklets that should be on each of your seats, and that same QR code is on the back of your booklet. So you can keep giving tonight and tomorrow and the next day. You can give it to all your friends and let them give too. So that's just a great thing to take home. If there's someone you need to talk things through with or whatever before you give, just grab that and take it home and use your phone to give. Thanks again for being a part of this. Let's give the Lord thanks together. Father, we are grateful for the work of North Littleton Promise. We're grateful for the families that you have blessed the city of Littleton with, and for an organization that has given opportunity for those families to come together, get to know one another, and also to serve and enrich the rest of Littleton. Lord, we are a better, stronger Littleton because of them. And I ask that you would continue to use North Littleton Promise to deepen those relationships, that you would expand the reach, expand the ability that North Littleton Promise has to support and walk with these families. We are so grateful that you have given us this privilege and honor, and we ask that we would do it humbly, that we would be mutual learners, and that we would all see more of you and what you're like in one another. In Jesus' name, amen. Thanks again for being here. Have a wonderful night.